Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we are comparing Halo Infinite to the three best looking games on the PlayStation 5 currently. So, what we're doing is we are going around and we're looking at the quality of the game in general. So, the games that we're going to be comparing this today are going to be Demon's Souls, which I think is currently the best looking game on the PlayStation 5. Spider-Man Miles Morales, as well as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Those are the three games that are most represented, that I feel like look the best on the PlayStation 5 currently right now. So basically is what we're doing is we are looking at texture detail. Now, in order to be completely fair with the PlayStation 5 versions of those games, if they had a 4K 30 mode in there, I did use the 4K 30 frames per second mode. Because I do want to get a fair representation of materials, texture, just visuals in general, to compare all three games side by side. Now, I will be showing these together at the same time. I did record I did record myself talking during the other ones, but I won't be playing the sound in those. I'll only be playing the sound in this because I just feel like that is a better way to represent everything. As we are going along during this video, though, I will be kind of just pointing things out, because if you look at the texture work in this game, this looks pretty freaking phenomenal. I mean, there's like, I did that purposely. I brought all three of these games up so that we could look at all three of them, side by side, and just kind of see which one really is the best looking game. I feel like Halo Infinite, hands down, is a much better looking game than those three top contenders. The only one, in my opinion, that even comes close to this is gonna be Demon's Souls for sure. If you look at the tessellation and everything in these grounds and stuff, this just looks freaking phenomenal. For anybody to say otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I even left Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on the 4K 30 as well, just so that you could kind of see. I feel like the visuals in here kind of align more with what they would in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but I mean, maybe I should go over somewhere to give you like a better representation too of this, But this right here, I feel comfortable just looking at anything, going anywhere, and just showing you anything on screen, because this game here looks freaking beautiful, looks phenomenal. This right here looks pretty freaking good. These rocks, all of the stuff in here. I feel like Halo Infinite is a much better looking game, to be completely honest with you. Like the textures and the detail and everything, all the tessellation, all the rock faces. The Sony guys, man, they are all about holding Ratchet and Clank up as the best looking one. So I mean, theoretically, I could have just used Ratchet and Clank footage only, but I wanted to be a little bit more fair when I say, in my view, I think Halo Infinite is clearly the best looking game out right now. You get beautiful freaking textures and all of this. Like this this right here looks so freaking good. It does look a little bit dark on the recording though, but for the most part, the texture quality in here, like when you look at Ratchet and Clank up close like this, it does not look as stunning as it does on this game. Like everything has a nice texture, like the ground. It's got a beautiful freaking texture in all of this. I wish it was daytime on this game right now. I mean, we've got a few minutes to get through on this, so kind of want to get these things to line up nicely or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like this up here, just look at this. Gosh, this just looks freaking phenomenal. The atmosphere in this game is so beautiful. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this video to knock PlayStation in any way, shape, or form. This is purely to show you that Xbox first-party titles are on par visually with Sony first-party titles that are out on the Xbox right now. I mean, theoretically, I could throw some Forza Horizon 5 in there, but you know, for the most part, like this just looks freaking phenomenal. The closer you get to the textures, they don't fucking fall apart. Like this looks dang good. There's a lot of quality in these visuals that definitely put it on par with what Sony first party is doing right now. So this notion that Xbox is not good, that doesn't sit right with me. That just doesn't sit right with me. This game is freaking truly beautiful. I do not find myself wanting when I'm looking at the visuals on this game. Like I look at this game and I'm like, wow, this game is freaking beautiful. And it runs at 60 frames a second with 4K resolution. And when you look out there in the draw distance, it looks good. When you look at that draw distance on Spider-Man Miles Morales, yeah, not as good. And I do feel fair using Miles Morales and stuff as a comparison point, even though because this is on old Xboxes and stuff too. So this is technically a cross-gen game with probably the most impressive looking visuals out right now. I mean, I do personally like Forza Horizon 5. I'm a racing fan. But I mean, this here has some amazing looking visuals on it. And you know what? Actually, I think I will do some Forza Horizon 5 in this as well. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm going to. I'm going to split the difference with this and Forza Horizon. So, just one more look at some of this beautiful stuff. Let's go over here because I know there's some really nice textures over here in this rock face right here too. See all the tessellation right through here? Like it looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Forza Horizon and finish this video off with that one. We are looking at Demon Souls on the PlayStation 5. So what we're doing is we're checking out all of the visuals on here. This is the 60 frames a second mode. So this is the one that would be comparable that we would use as the I picked this spot right here because this right here exhibits a lot of detail at 60 frames a second. You can look out of here across the way. You can definitely tell that up there is not as detailed. Is it? I mean, it looks great for what it is. It definitely looks pretty good. Definitely not 100% next gen. Like you can look up there at the church. You see the fire on the building right there. You can see the texture in the ground. Well, kind of the best you can with, you know, a third-person game. So I mean, yeah, this game does exhibit, you know, a pretty decent amount of texture. So if we switch over to the, if we go over to display, we go over to cinematic, then we can look at the texture detail, and it does look a lot sharper. Here's a good look, you know, down on the ground. You know, kind of pan this camera around. I mean, my goal here is to show you the best that the PlayStation has to offer. This game was a launch title, so we're looking at this the best way we can. So I mean, the ground still looks pretty flat. You know, you got the texture over here in this wall. Notice how it kind of, no, I guess it is just a flat texture. Where's all the tessellation at? So we'll come over here and we'll look down here. So I've cleared out the enemies in this area a little bit so that I can make this video. I don't know, man. It kind of looks like those are sticking out, but at the same time they also kind of look like a flat surface. Yeah, those are definitely sticking out. Okay, so yeah. So here's like your rock texture inside here. These are definitely protruding, definitely have some tessellation in them for sure. Like that looks pretty dang good when you're looking at this in the 4K mode. So I mean, we're definitely showing that. This is this is, you know, the 4K mode, so it's 30 frames a second. This is locked at 30 frames a second, really stable frame rate. Detail in this game looks really good. The colors look great. They look amazing. Like this is, oh dang, I'm on fire. The fire kind of effects look good, you know. I mean, animation and movement still feels pretty stiff. Definitely rooted in, you know, PlayStation 3 era when it comes to movement and stuff. You know, animations look pretty decent though. Cutscenes on this game are on another level. They look freaking phenomenal. So essentially, this is what I think to date in the 4K 30 FPS mode is probably the strongest visuals that the PlayStation has, that the PlayStation 5 has to date. Like this right here, I mean, you look out there across the way, that still looks pretty, that still looks the same, but when you're up close and you're looking at this detail in the buildings and stuff, this is to me the most impressive visual showcase that that I've seen on the PlayStation. This is an amazing looking game. And now we have Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5 running in the 4K 30 frames per second mode, because this does exhibit the ray tracing. You can tell that the ray tracing is pretty decent for the most part. Texture quality is it's definitely hard to tell texture quality while in while it's snowing in this game. So this is basically what the game looks like. It's not exactly as sharp as you would expect, to tell you the truth. I mean, if we're gonna compare, you know, like in-world games and stuff. I mean, I'm already being nice and using the native, you know, resolution modes at 30 frames a second. But I mean, as you can see, Spider-Man, for the most part, at 30 frames a second, this doesn't feel completely terrible. You know, it's actually a pretty decent experience. When you swing around, you can still see your body in there. I mean, this right here looks kind of cool. This sign. Huh. But if you look way down there, down that road, let's see. Like it starts to blur out pretty quick. Draw distance isn't really that far. I mean, you can probably see right to the front of this building, in the front of this building, and then everything past that, it just doesn't look that sharp, doesn't look that crisp, doesn't look like there's that much of a draw distance for detail anyways. So just looking down at everything, you know, I mean, like there's a lot of pedestrians down there now. There's definitely, you know, I mean, this definitely looks pretty good at 4K. But I would say this is less impressive um, than the than Demon Souls by a lot. To be completely honest with you. Um, so we will move on to the next game in our comparison, which is going to be Ratchet and Clank. Now we have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart again in the 4K 30 frames per second mode. So we can look at things. So this is probably the second most most visual impressive game on PlayStation 5 right now today. Um, let's get down here into a spot. And I chose Nefarious City because this is the one that has the most going on. So you get out here and you look around. I mean, this is pretty impressive for the most part. But if you look, you see this right here? Everything just looks, you know, I mean, you just look around. We're just going around with the camera. So basically, all that stuff in the background, everything like this building up here, that building right there, that one over there, that one back there, that one back there, that one, all of those buildings share the same common color scheme. It looks big, but what you really get in this map, or in this map, is basically this little tiny area surrounded by all of those static buildings back there. And then, you know, now, so let's look at everything up close. Let's look at these textures. These look all right for the most part. I mean, they definitely look pretty kid-like or whatever. They do look nice. That's why I'm doing this in the 4K mode, so that we can actually look, you know, at the quality of the textures, the quality of the environment. Because if we're doing this comparison, I want to be as fair as possible when it comes to this comparison. Like I don't want, you know, people to be like, oh man, that's not fair because you used the other mode. No, this is the this right here is the 4K performance visual mode. We'll show you right here with all the ray tracing in the ground and everything. Like, this is definitely the ray tracing mode, the 4K ray tracing mode. If you're watching this on a 1080p TV, like you'll definitely see the just the beauty of it. So there's the ray tracing. So the ray tracing on this does look phenomenal. It does look great. This is 30 frames a second. This is the best these visuals look on this game, hands down. Like, this is literally the best. None of the other modes come this close to this quality of textures, the quality of detail, the Like, this is the best that this game has to offer. Um, this world, anyways, for sure. This is the best looking world that this game here has to offer. I was thinking about going to Rivet's world and showing you that, but this is by far the best looking world that this game has to offer. So we are going to move on to the next PlayStation exclusive. All right, we're back with Forza Horizon 5 to finish off this comparison. Um, right off the gate, right out the gate, you can see all of that really fine texture in the road. Now, this is in the performance mode at 60 frames a second as well. Yes, I feel comfortable enough comparing this in the 60 FPS view just so we can really look at that. So we're going to go right in here to camera view, and we're going to look around at all the tessellated rocks right here on the ground. That looks pretty freaking good. You get over here, you look at the side of the building. Dang, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. You got tessellation all over the road still. Oh, whoops. Come on. How do we do that? I didn't want to do that. I was trying to go up. But you get out here and you look around, you look down. This game here has some really, really high detail. You see all the sand in the road, the different textures. Oh, would you look at that? Needles on the cactus. Yeah, you could basically fly around this whole thing just looking. And this isn't even the most beautiful part of this game. So let's get back into my car. Get right back into that car, and we'll check this out at 60 frames a second. Like, this just feels so good. Like, I mean, look at the immaculate detail in this car. Immaculate detail. Looks so freaking good. I love the way the dirt textures, the roads look on this game. Just the sheer beauty of this game is freaking phenomenal. This is definitely on par with PlayStation first party. I mean, if we get over here to, we'll get over here to more of the tree area. So I believe this game is definitely on par with first party PlayStation. You get over here and you look at the ground. Like, this looks great. The trees, they look nice. The freaking vegetation in this game, there's lots of it. And it looks good. It looks pretty realistic. Even at 60 frames a second. If I go over to the 4K mode, then oh my gosh, it's even better. And I am perfectly okay with comparing this at 60 frames a second to anything that PlayStation has out right now. Both Halo and Forza are amazing looking games. The amount of texture, the amount of detail that are in these games, like when you stop and you pull out the camera again and you just look at the detail in this car. In the ground, like those tires. Like, this is pretty nice. Ooh, look at those. Like, everything here just looks good. I'm pretty happy with the way this game looks. I think it is definitely on par with PlayStation 5 visuals. You know, you got a lot of people out there comparing them, so we're going to go ahead and get this video put out. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.